Hey, John, we're deep into the Simcoe on this one.
And 5 other hops varieties, too.
Yeah, let's get after it.
Welcome to Driftless Drinks. My name is John.
And my name is Mark.
And today we're going to go for an annual favorite of ours. We're going to dive into a Hopslam Ale by Bell's Brewing Company.
Yay! We know Bell's. We love Bell's. And Hopslam is one of their flagship brews. Big, bold, and fairly assertive on the hop end. But it's also brewed with honey that kind of helps smooth it out a little bit. This one, I think I did a video on this one a year or two ago. And so not to think, hopefully nobody thinks we're recycling content, but they are different every year a little bit. And I'll be perfectly honest, as far as hopped beers go, this one's right at the top of my list. So anytime I can con John into drinking a Hopslam, I'm like,
it's not a con anymore. I'm fully on board. This is the Stockholm of beers, and I've got the syndrome. I'm in on it. This is a DIPA, a DIPA.
Oh, a DIPA.
It's really interesting how double IPAs are made. They crank on the hops in about 12 different ways, and I think we'll get into a little bit more about how these things are actually made and how they're actually brewed. We won't get technical.
Good.
We've learned not to get technical on this show.
Yeah, John has to dumb everything down for me because
that is not the case.
My understanding of the English language is pretty basic.
That is not the case. But as a matter of fact, why don't you get some practice? Tell us about the packaging. Why don't you read around this thing? Because, I can't see anything.
John doesn't have his superpowers on yet. This is Bell's Hopslam Ale, and you can't miss this one when it comes out because it is like guacamole green. The label is, and so is the cap. So as we go down the label, it's Bell's Comstock, straight out of Comstock, Michigan. Hopslam Ale, and then there's a picture of what looks to be a giant hop nugget completely obliterating a dude. Like, all you can see is his arms and legs poking out from underneath it. I kind of hope this wasn't like what are they called? Like those chalk outline drawings where this came from an actual crime scene somewhere where some 800-pound, 6-foot hop nugget crushed a guy.
Beware the hop nugget.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, apparently they kill. So it says Double India Pale Ale brewed with honey, brewed and bottled by Bell's Brewery, Comstock, Michigan. We roll the bottle around. I'm going to start at the bottom. Packaging date on this one is 1/6/21, and we are about 3 weeks removed from that date. So this is fairly fresh here. Starting back at the top of the label, an exceptionally aromatic blend of hops combined in this balanced interpretation of the double IPA style. Best enjoyed as fresh as possible, and that's why I brought out the date first. So we're getting after this within weeks of its bottling. I think that's pretty good. Shelf life says 3 months, alcohol 10% by volume, and that's it for the label, John. This is 12 fluid ounces of golden hoppy honey goodness here.
Yeah. So the website, which, I can make the text bigger so I can actually read the website.
Oh, yeah. Zoom in, buddy.
It says, starting with, should I go radio announcer voice? No. Okay.
We'll save the NPR stuff for later.
All right. Starting with 6 different hop varietals added to the brew kettle and culminating with a massive dry hop addition of Simcoe hops, Bell's Hopslam Ale possesses the most complex hopping schedule in the Bell's repertoire. Selected specifically because of their aromatic qualities, these Pacific Northwest varieties contribute a pungent blend of grapefruit, stone fruit, and floral notes. A generous malt bill and a solid dollop of honey provide just enough body to keep the balance in check, resulting in a remarkably drinkable rendition of the Double India Pale Ale style. And the rest of it, they talk about carbs, they talk about calories. Let's not talk about calories or carbs. They also refuse to list the IBUs, the International Bitterness Units. And I fully agree with them that the perception, the bitterness perception that you get is completely different than what they got in the lab. And the lab is where they got the IBUs. I agree with them on that. It doesn't really help. I have yet to understand why the original gravity is listed, because that doesn't help me either. And I know exactly what it means, and it doesn't help me know what to expect. So somebody's going to have to explain that to me. I'm going to show up at one of the breweries and ask them.
I mean, to your point, they actually do list the IBUs if you click on and then scroll down a little bit.
Oh, do they? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, they do.
I'm not trying to call you out, but I'm just saying.
No, you should. I didn't click on it.
Well, that's why they put them on there, right? Because they put the original gravity on, and they know that, you get nothing from that. And so then they also say that, hey, you don't get anything from IBU, but we're going to put that on here too.
Should we call out the irony of the link that said, we'll call it the irony that the link that said, that actually shows the IBUs
yes.
was said, why don't we list IBUs? And then they have a paragraph. The paragraph should have been, we do, you just had to click. That's what that should have said. It's like,
why don't we list IBUs? Just kidding.
Just kidding. Like, we're going to have a talk with these people at some day.
Yeah. It's
going to be like, we love you, but let's talk about the IBU thing for a bit.
Right. Good times. Do you want me to call off the calories? Oh, no, we said we weren't going to do that. That's right.
No, we don't want to mention the fact that there's 21.5 carbs and 294 calories.
Yeah.
We won't mention that.
It's only 198 more calories than Miller Lite. So, according to the commercial.
And 149 calories more than a Guinness out of a can, but
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Yeah,
what we
it doesn't
lack in volume, we're gaining in alcohol by volume.
Yeah, 10% is awesome.
Are we done reading?
Yeah, we're done reading.
All right, let's open this thing up.
All right, let's go for it. All right, I'm set. You call it.
3, 2, 1. Blast off.
That was...
I obviously need a new opener.
That was not synchronized.
Yeah.
Okay, now that we got them open, shall we pour?
Sure, why not? I mean, we're almost halfway there, right? They're 30%.
Yeah. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
Here's the thing. To get it on mic, you have to pour a little more aggressively, but I don't think I got much of an aggression there. Oh.
Yeah, if you want to spill some on your mic, let me know. I'm pretty good at it.
No.
I can get it on your laptop, too.
The nice thing about this is the head just immediately pops up, and it's just like, hey, I'm going to be substantial. I mean, that's what I'm seeing right now from the head formation in this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost a half inch.
Yeah, I'm rocking a solid quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And I do.
And this
I tend to give everything a soft pour. This is how I roll, man.
All right. 10 seconds for
Station
beauty shots.
Oh.
So the color on this is it's just a beautiful honey blonde.
Yeah.
Maybe a touch darker than that, a little bit of orange floating through that.
She's a deep honey.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would go with. Deep honey.
That was the name of my soul band back in the 70s.
Yeah, that's actually a really great band name.
I know.
Yeah,
it is.
You could, open for Vanilla Fudge with that name.
Deep honey with vanilla fudge.
Yeah, see? It's a confectionery delight for your ear holes.
All right, I'm going to stick a nose in it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so the
Oh, man.
Yeah. It's weird because it's the grapefruit is there, but it's like mellowed with orange.
Yes. Very
What's a stone
citrusy.
fruit?
Stone
When they say
fruit?
stone fruit, yeah, they said stone fruit in the description. Is that just like fruit with stones, like peaches and that kind of thing? Is that what they mean?
Stone fruit.
Yeah, a pungent blend of grapefruit, stone fruit, and floral notes.
It's not like the Jimi Hendrix song. That's stone free, right?
No, that's stone fruit, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, a droop.
What?
You're a droop.
I can't deny that.
Stone fruit. A fruit with flesh or pulp enclosing a stone, such as a peach, plum, or cherry. You were exactly right, John.
Yeah, took a while. See, and I think that's a bad term because this doesn't smell like cherry. But I would get a little peach out of that.
Yeah.
I definitely get that.
I think that comes from the honey. I mean, that's what I'm guessing. I don't know. It might come from something else. Maybe they put peaches in it. But they didn't say they put peaches in it, so I believe them. Like, I trust Bell's.
I do too. And they talk about Pacific Northwest varieties. So, of course, did I have to look that up? Yes, I did. I had to look up Northwest. So,
Yeah.
Pacific Northwest varieties of hops that they mentioned, they include Cascade, the Simcoe is one of them, Citra, Centennial, Mosaic, Chinook, Amarillo. They're all Northwest. So we don't know what they've used. It's going to be some of those. Or then there's another one called CTZ. That is one of the hops that's used in these. And CTZ stands for Columbus, Tomahawk, and Zeus, which are apparently trade names. So that's 3 different companies have a trade name on the same variety of hops. It got weird when I went down that rabbit hole, so I'll spare you. I'll spare you that one.
It's all trademarks and licensing. And
really, it's fruity. It's citrus fruity with some floral notes to it, like daisies. If you've ever had like a fresh daisy, I get a little bit of that out of this.
Man, my only complaint about this beer and smelling it right now is that it's like early February. If this were to come out closer to, I don't know, mid to into April, it would really hit the vibe of the whole season. You know what I mean? Like early May, right in there. It smells like a warm springtime day.
It does. And that's the thing, is that it only lasts 3 months, so this stuff isn't going to stick around. It isn't going to be that great when spring finally hits. So
yeah. I might keep one back, but I've done that in years past, and it's diminishing returns as it goes along.
All right, shall we go for a taste?
Absolutely.
Teased this enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like you'd expect, a whole bunch of hops is going to make something bitter. And that's there. And it's, if you're not into hoppy beers, and I meet people all the time who are like, I don't want to try craft beers, I don't like that hoppy stuff. Well, yeah, you don't want this. But, so I'm getting the bitterness out of it. I get the malty balance of it, which is really nice. How's it coming off for you?
Okay, so I tend to get these every year. I'm not a huge IPA guy, but this is one of those beers that really checks all the right boxes for me year after year. I would say that the kind of viscosity that the honey usually brings is a little less present in this particular batch, which to me makes the like the citrus hops pop a little bit more, and it doesn't make the mouthfeel quite as slippery smooth as I've kind of known them to be in the past, right? So I think if you're an IPA drinker, this year would be more to your liking because it stacks up a little bit more like a typical IPA than some of the Hopslams I've had in the past, which were a touch more honey and sweet forward and malt forward than this one. This one doesn't provide quite the balance that I've had in 2019 was a really great year. I like that one a lot. And I think 16 was another one I thought was really, really good because it was a little sweeter. So, I might be wrong on that one. I honestly can't remember. I remember exactly where I was and who I was with when I had that beer. And I think it was early 2017. So which would have been the 16 or would have been the 17. How did they rate these? Is this 21?
I don't know.
This is 21.
Okay, so it would have been the 17.
So that would have been the 17 then.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was a really long and rambling story to say that it's still a very good beer year after year. This one's a little bit different than some of the ones that I've really benchmarked as like the really good ones. Because sweet gets me, and I like it.
Oh, yeah.
Sweeter. But what a great beer. You're right. There's a ton of balance in this. It is hop forward, but there is a significant enough backbone to this to hold it up.
Would you like to know the history of the Double IPA?
Ooh, yay. I think, okay, yeah, let's do that. The
right.
Double IPA, you say?
The Double IPA. So, quick guess, and there's no reason you should know this, by the way. So you can guess any number you'd like, but
I won't.
What year? How far back do you think the Double IPA goes? You know, IPAs are very old; they go back hundreds of years. You know, as a preservative, and there's some other questionable history behind where IPAs come from. But how far back do you think the Double IPA goes? Because it's been pinned down to a specific year.
So is it before or after IPAs? Can you give me that hint?
Definitely after.
Okay.
So IPA absolutely preceded the Double IPA. Absolutely.
Like, all right, so it's got to be fairly recent then, I think.
Okay.
Especially when we're talking about, like, what, Belgian triples weren't invented until, like, the 40s or something? Or 30s?
Right. Yep.
That still freaks me right out. Like, that beer is less than 100 years old. That's crazy. 19... I'm going to go Reagan administration.
Okay.
1982.
That's not a bad guess. It's 1994.
Oh, well, I was way off. But
No, that's not way off. In the history of IPAs, that's almost pinpoint. The so it was brewed
with staggering accuracy. Look at him make his prognostications. It's like Nostradamus over here. Just firing off stupid years.
Well, like I said, there's no reason you should know this. There's no reason you should be able to guess this. I was just shooting in the dark.
I was like, well, what year did the Columbia blow up? Let's see. Columbia hops are in this. No, the Centennial.
That was the Challenger, but all right.
Yeah, and that was 86. So that wouldn't have been at any. Okay, sorry. I'm just totally wrecking. I'm digging myself a bigger hole. That's what I do. Go ahead. 1994, you say.
And I have no idea if any of this will make it in
because we've already Rubberneck came out. I love that album.
Which one?
The Toadies Rubberneck.
Oh no, I don't know it.
Okay, you tell the story, and I'm gonna look up Toadies Rubberneck, and then maybe we'll listen to Possum Kingdom or something.
So yeah, that was first invented by a man named Vinnie Cilurzo, and I'm gonna just slay that name, and because it's Cilurzo, Cilurzo, and he brewed it at a now closed brewery called Blind Dog Brewery, and it's in Temecula, California. I'm not sure where that is on the whole California spectrum because it could be several different lines of latitude.
Temecula? Doesn't Lagunitas have a brewery there?
Is that where Lagunitas is? I don't know. That's where he is now the owner of Russian River Brewery.
Ooh.
So and Russian River Brewing does a double IPA called Pliny the Elder, which you might know. And so he's the one that invented it at this brewery when he was working there. That brewery's gone, and invented this Pliny the Elder. And the idea is that if you put in hops at all stages of it and then give it a good malt backbone, you can get the best of both worlds. And I think this beer pulls it off. I've not had Pliny the Elder. I know of it. I've heard many things about it, and I would love to get my hands on it. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, it was built by a man who is still around and still brewing top-notch beer for Russian River. And if you can get hold of the Pliny the Elder, send a bottle our way.
By the way, Temecula, halfway between L.A. and San Diego, inland.
Oh, okay.
A little bit, yeah. It's on the 15.
It's on the 15? Mm-hmm. Looking on the map.
I did.
It's right. All right.
You asked, and then,
I did.
This is how I get with mapping. Like, I can't... Google Maps is, like, one of the greatest inventions of our time, I think. Like, anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
I digress.
No, that's all good. So anyway, that was the brief history, because there's not a lot of progress after a double IPA.
Well, there's a triple IPA. There's the Devil Dancer from Founders. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
Do you think people are just throwing out like prefixes? Like, well, we call it a double because there's twice as much stuff in it. Well, your double. I'll raise you one.
Double plus one is what that is. There's a lot of throwing around weird freaking names with beer.
Well, so it's good to have the context of the history of it, right? Because like what you just said, a lot of people are throwing around a lot of terms, and do all of them or any of them mean anything? And some of them do, and some of them are sort of made up, wondering if people will get them to stick, right? That's like the whole hazy, NEPA, juicy, hazy, whatever we want to call that style of IPA beer. Like,
right.
One of them eventually is going to win out, and then everybody's going to have to call it that.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that and then they try to come around and they try to make it, a different. They're like, well, no, this isn't a hazy; it's a juicy. It's like, come on,
dude. Yeah,
you've done this. Yeah, you've done the same process, and that's the thing. So they call it this is Hopslam is a double IPA, but there's 6 hops in it, and they were added all along the process. They were dry hopped. It was mash hopped. I mean, it isn't as and it was put along the entire process. It wasn't like it was 2 different IPAs that were put together. The whole thing gets misleading, and I think they have carte blanche because a duple, a triple, and a quad are not 1, 2, and are not 2, 3, and 4 of the same thing. They're completely different beers that somebody came up with a name to compete with the other beer before it. So it's one of those things that the industry, God bless the beer industry, but sometimes they just go sideways. And it's like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
I realize what they're doing is trying to sell beer.
Yep.
And in this case, good beer to people who they hope will appreciate it. But, there could be some minor agreement on what the hell we're going to call these things.
Yeah, and that's a weird thing now with like the flavor explosion, over the last 6 or 8 years, that everybody's coming up with different terms, because they're trying to set themselves apart in a very crowded and becoming even more so crowded marketplace. So, and it's just a way to try to, what do they call it? Product differentiation.
Yep.
So, it's a really good beer.
Aging, or not aging, but letting it rest and warm up usually doesn't help too much. It actually makes it a little more bitter sometimes, and you lose some of the sweetness. That's happened a little bit with this.
Okay.
But I'm still fully enjoying it. And there have been other IPAs that, you kind of have to drink within a half hour or or within 10 minutes or they're just not going to maintain their quality.
You got to drink it before you open it.
Drink it before you open it.
No good.
Yeah, that's the way Houdini drank beer. Any jackass could take the top off.
Right? Can
But
you
it
drink
takes
it
a
in
talent-
a bottle without opening it? But yeah, I know what you're saying. As it warms, it gets a little hoppier. And this is why I had said initially with what had come on the first wave, I had noticed it wasn't quite as sweet and viscous. And that kind of pointed me in the direction of it's, you know what I mean? It's like this year's is a little hoppier than years past that I've really enjoyed that were a little sweeter. And this is all really nuanced stuff too. I mean, whatever. This is still a really great beer. And anybody should go get one at any time if you're into IPAs at all.
You know, that's a really good observation. There is that a little bit of a resin quality to it. And not in a bad way.
Won't totally make you pucker. There's just enough honey there to balance it, and malt back is very, very well selected and nice. But
well, so that peach quality, that brightness has kind of dissipated.
Yep.
And now what I get is most of the floral notes, and that bitterness is carried by the floral notes instead of being carried by like the grapefruity kind of peachy kind of thing that was going on earlier. So that was Hopslam by Bell's Brewery. A little more hoppy this year for me, but not bad at all. What'd you think, Mark?
yeah, that's exactly where I'm at with it. It touch more resiny, touch more hoppy, a little less honey in the viscosity that comes along with that. And that's always what really gets me going on this one every year, because I really enjoy that. It's not a thick honey back, but it's just enough to let you know that it's there. And that's kind of missing this year. But if this is as bad as Hopslam gets, I'm continuing to buy it every year, because it's a great double. It sets itself apart from a lot of other doubles. And I think it's a fantastic beer from a really great brewing operation in Bell's. So
I couldn't agree more. Go out and get yourself some, folks.
get your pull.
Get you a bowl.
Driftless Drink studio recording courtesy of HPJ Studios in Tomah, Wisconsin. Be sure to subscribe and rate us wherever you get your podcasts, and like us on Facebook and Instagram, where we feature each episode's brews a week or so ahead of time. Visit us at driftlessdrinks.com, where you can comment on each episode and drink along with us on the Driftless Drinks YouTube channel.
And so that does it for another edition of Driftless Drinks. My name is John.
My name's Mark.
And keep a cold one handy for us.
Yeah. Don't drink it. Just keep it.
If it's for us.
For us. Total eclipse of the John.
No, that's a different kind of thing.
Oh. Oh, man. We devolved into Bonnie Tyler songs really quickly this episode. I think he was talking about taking off his pants and running around naked with it or something. I mean, it was crazy. Yeah, he thought it was really good.
I don't think I've ever had a beer so good I wanted to take my clothes off.
Really?
I've had enough beer that I wanted to take my clothes off. But I've never had a beer that made me want to take my clothes off. I think that's a good idea. You know, I tried to drink one of these in a vacuum, but it was so goddamn dusty.
All the cat hair.
That was bad.
Oh, you're back.
You're back. Okay.
Last thing I heard was lupulin shift.
So, yeah.
And then it was all like space stuff.
Space stuff.
Ludicrous speed.
bringing it to
Ursa
ludicrous
Minor
speed.
and Ursa Major, just like, WrestleMania with, Orion, but he's got like bows and arrows, and they only have like paws and claws. It's just, it was crazy, man. Like, for the 3 seconds I lost you, a lot of things happened.
Wow.
Yeah.